What's up everybody and welcome back to another episode of The Time Is Now. This is the 5 week out vlog. We are 5 weeks out. I can't believe it. Also marks the halfway point. I can't believe it's the halfway point, which is insane. There's been so many differences this prep that I've noticed, just it being shorter. Some good, some bad. We'll definitely trickle in a few of those over this episode just so you guys can get a little look into the mindset of how it feels, how I can do this, why I can do this, and just a few things that have proven a little bit difficult at the moment, as well as good as well. But a little bit of an update before we kind of get into the meat of this video. 5 weeks out, I was 112 kilos on the dot pretty much this morning, maybe a little bit less. Cardio's at 40 minutes fasted every day. That goes along with 11,000 steps. That goes along with training 5 times a week, and I do have 2 rest days. Those rest days are hard. Why are they hard? Because food's lower on those days now, 2,700 calories. Probably quite high for some people watching, but when you're 112 kilos on anabolics, cleanse, T3, T4, your inbine, anabolics, training hard, cardio, steps, like it's actually not that much food, and it feels like not very much food, and it kills me. Training days 3,200, so longing for those training days because there's a little bit more food, which is today. And then like I said, T3 and T4 have just been implemented. I will talk a little bit more about that in depth because we did some blood tests, which I just want to run over a little bit later in this video without making this clip too long. Cleanse, your inbine, literally been the same since the last time we talked. I haven't moved those up at all. So everything else, a little bit less food, a little bit more cardio. We took the extra bump up in anabolics. So 2 weeks ago in terms of primo, I actually put my Trent up this week because strength is starting to get hard and I want performance to be increasing, which is why we've also introduced pre-workout and a VAR as well. So when performance is reduced and there's nothing else you can do when you are assisted, there are certain aspects of drugs that benefit. So that's it. I'm going to sit down, finish off a bit of work, and by work I mean I'll probably play Hogwarts because I'm obsessed with it. Luckily today's a little bit of a calmer day, so I can do most of my work after we train, so we'll catch you in a bit. Got 1 apple. I don't weigh my apples, I just eat the apples because eventually they're going to even out. 1 banana, exactly the same thing, try and pick the same sort of banana size. 5 rice cakes, 50 grams of protein from one of these proteins, and then I've got 3 chocolate covered rice cakes. All about the crunch, all about the carbohydrates, pre and post workout. A little bit of potassium coming in from that banana as well, and I'm also sipping on some electrolytes. I'm trying to get very, very hydrated. I'm trying to fuel my body. I'm trying to give my body the nutrients and ingredients it needs to put just fuel into the bloodstream. So this is a perfect meal. We'll sit, let this digest, get on with a little bit of work, and we'll be leaving here in about an hour's time. I'd like to give you guys a little updates on the pre-workouts that I use at the moment. Obviously, I'm very heavy into the pre-workouts being on prep now. This one right here, this is lovely. This is Pumped TF by Alpha Neon. It's an extremely non-stimp, that's what it says in here anyway. It's got some seriously good ingredients on here. Taurine, betaine, stable glycerol powder, 10,000 milligrams of that in 2 scoops, which is absolutely wild, which is of course what I'm gonna do. And then in terms of stim, because this is non-pump, like I'm a big, like I like to combine them both. If you've got the budget available, I do think like there are better stims than pumps that have a little bit of stim in it, and better pumps that have a little bit of stim in it, right? You want to be able to get one that's designed for pump and one that's designed for stim. I'm gonna use the Ghost Stim right here. Probably mostly because of the flavor. It's pretty good, like citrulline, a little bit of a pump, nitrosogene, a little bit more of a pump. Obviously we've got enough pump in here. But in terms of the actual like focus here, alpha GPC, I'm a big fan of alpha GPC for concentration and focus. There's a natural caffeine here, 250 milligrams, which is nothing crazy. And then there's a few other things like Rauwolfia and taurine L-tyrosine, which is just going to help with that focus a little bit. But this is Sour Patch Kids, baby. Red berry. This is red berry one, by the way. Look at this red berry just takes us straight back to America for the Ghost energy drinks.
Best
Ghost
energy drinks.
If you're watching, look me up. That's pre-workouts. Let's go. Alright guys, so we're back in a bubble, back in a gym. Loki's behind the camera again, so it's just gonna look good versus last week. I'm just gonna let the camera roll today. We're gonna get into a training session, but what I wanna do is just show you this warm up. For anyone who's not feeling their chest that well, and perhaps wants to increase that proprioception, that mind to muscle connection, what I want you to do is just grab a cable, literally come into that fly position, straight arm, bring that right across into the shortest position possible. Put your hand on your pec here, you're gonna feel that contraction, and I want you to just work in that 15 to 20% of that range of motion, and just come right across. I want you to do that 15 to 20 times. Super, super lightweight, no like failure, nothing like that. Both sides, a couple times. Feel that pump, and then go and get into your workout. Alright guys, PWO, post-workout meal. We want to shout the guys out at Premier Meal Prep. We've got the chicken, we've got the plain mince. You can choose not to have plain mince, and then prawns. So I got the king prawns today. I usually rotate. I try to have 2 to 3, if not 4 different sources of protein a day. So we've got whey protein, chicken sausages this morning, prawns right now. I'll probably do the beef later on for some fat, so it's just 5% fat mince. And then I'll alternate the chicken and prawns sometimes, but you can use the code Josh, 10 to discount across the whole range. I use the meat store mostly because I'm on prep. I don't really want my calories coming from meals that they make. I just want to make them myself. So I get the meat store, which is just like king prawns, salmon, beef, steak. They've got fillet steak, which is incredible, so check them out. Post-workout meal, 400 grams of potato, prawns, you bloody prawn. I'm fucking starving, mate. Oh, we like it salty. Right guys, I wanted to take a little bit of time here just to talk about the implementation of Thyroid now. This is obviously not advice, this is just what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. You know, if you're gonna go down this route, please like try to get a doctor, a coach, and just, you know, make sure you do your research first. For me, I get my bloods done pretty regularly. I use MediChecks. I work with MediChecks actually. You can use Josh Bridgman for discount, no Ian Bridgman. And you can basically just test your thyroid. So right before this, obviously right before prep, I did a full test, a full panel on everything. We did a blood work video on that. You guys can go back and check it out. On that was my thyroid. So on screen now, I put that thyroid test right now. And you can see that in 4.5 weeks, in 4.5 or 5 weeks of dieting, you can see the difference. So this is the one that I took literally this week. And when we put them side by side, you can see there's a big drop in free thyroxine, TSH, all 3 of those have dropped. And that just shows what a harsh deficit, a lot of cardio, you know, not eating as much food that your body needs, can do as quickly as you can. So for me, I don't want that sloping thyroid. Instead, I'm going to implement my thyroid and I'm going to keep it in a HRT dose, which is going to be a natural range, but just high on that range, like we do a testosterone in TRT. And then from there, potentially there'll be some place where I go hyperthyroid, which means I'll go above that range, but for right now, I won't be, so I'll be putting myself in that range because of that. I think that's the importance of blood work. Like people just throw it in willy-nilly. Like you don't need it. People start with it, you don't need to. You can eke so much out of it. I mean, obviously that's from a really, really aggressive cut. You know, if it was much longer, it wouldn't happen like that. But you can see why people who are natural would potentially suffer long-term, you know, because of that thyroid. And then obviously testosterone as it gets later down the line, guys. So we're going to wrap the video up for today, and we'll wrap the part of this vlog up for today, and we'll see you tomorrow for leg day, where we're going to walk you through. Peace, everybody. What's up, guys? We're in for the next day, leg day. I'm going to take you through this leg day. As long as I can breathe, I'll do my best to take you through this, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, and the things we're thinking about now, especially as we're getting closer to prep. Lou's 3 weeks out, I'm 5 weeks out. More concerned for him, but we're trying to take less risk because the reward is not as big. Our goal is retention, not like progression, not huge amounts of muscle mass. It's actually just retention, stimulation. So we can take some tactical reductions here and there in intensity, and we'll talk you through this today. So enjoy this, let's go. All right, guys, first exercise, calf raises. One of the few things that actually Lou's experienced as well that I've actually got stronger on. Having a lot of walking, a lot of going up and down, a lot of using that ankle and that calf, just got stronger on. You know, considering body weight has come down. Not necessarily a pro, but here we go. Calves first, why? Because everyone fucks them off at the end, so we do them first. One thing I'm trying to do here in this calf raise is I'm gonna, not like pause, I'm gonna just micro pause right at the length and range, all the way to that short range. Like I don't wanna see bouncing, I just wanna see full control. And if at any point someone says stop, you can just stop that pinpoint and carry on with the rep. So second exercise after calves, well, first kind of main exercise, calves don't count. Lying hamstring curl. The reason why I do a hamstring curl before any type of squat, more movement in the knee, more joint fluid in the knee, more like suppleness to the knees rather than hitting it hard when it's a little bit cold. Muscles will work like a rubber band if it's cold, like they're more likely to snap, so get them warm, get things moving. It's also one of the very few movements that you can work the hamstring in a very short position. And the reason why we do it first is because the ability to get the hamstring fairly short just gets harder and harder and harder the further through a leg workout you get. And of course, legs being the most demanding, it's even harder. So put these first, along with extensions that you're gonna see in a minute. It's all about retention at this point, 5 weeks in, a lot of weight down. Let's see if we can match what we did last week. If it feels easy, I'll go up. Come on. Come on. Wow. You have to concede that 7 reps. At this point, probably a little bit low. So that's going to have to be a regression we'll take to try to get above 8 reps again. Yes. 4 more leg sessions left. Put it into perspective. When you're 8 weeks out, when you're 10 weeks out, when you're 12 weeks out, that's 12 opportunities, 5 opportunities to get better. Good, mate, come on. Yeah. Your hamstrings look fucking insane, bro. So leg extension, nothing crazy, like pretty similar to like a leg curl. The way you angle your feet is not gonna affect what happens at the joint, and that like knee joint is the only thing that is gonna really affect what the quad does and the hamstring does apart from the hip joint, you know? So what you do at the ankle isn't gonna make a difference. So what I want you to focus on for stability and safety is just keeping it neutral. That goes for the hip, that goes for the knee, that goes for the ankle. I want you to try and line it up perfectly. So it's like a straight line. That way you're not kind of putting any pressure to the left or the right, putting any stress on tendons, and focus on pushing all the way to the top, like fully extended. This is the only movement we can get fully extended. Not fully extend the hack squat, do not fully extend the leg press. You will snap some shit. Leg extension, let's load this bitch up, let's go. Goal is to make it look the same.
Again, let's go. Come on. Up. Come on.
It's on you. That's it. Oh my God. Okay. How are we in? Oh man. It's gonna be heavy regardless, that is. Got some new knee sleeves, these are slightly thicker than the old ones, a bit more support. Also moved the logo to the top as well. You notice that on the bottom, where sometimes it was where people were bending their knee, it was just rubbing off a little bit, so had to adapt where the logo goes. Oh God. No. Oh God, I'm gonna have to try a little bit more, but it's still gonna be sick, I don't think. So guys, two things. Sneak peek into the new range coming, the midnight range. Got a new logo on the belt, new colorway, and a couple of other things coming soon. Keep your ears peeled. We actually throw a reverse band on here now. The issue with us is losing so much body weight. You lose that like core strength, you lose that ability, that spinal support, which is obviously paramount in hack squat. So we threw that band on just to help on that lowest bit where we're a little bit weaker. We're dropping weight off though. This is getting very difficult. As of today, 12 kilos down, 2 stone, 26 pounds down, so. Sunday.
Come on, mate. Let's go. Come on. Good.
Fucking easy!
Go.
One more.
Yep. That's yours, mate. That's yours.
Oh, the trend got me there. Fucking hell. Oh. Yeah, that's nice. Good. That's the one. Come on then.
Yeah. Come on. Good.
Come on.
Yeah.
Moving on to the leg press now. We actually implemented this leg press off in the off season. I loved it for a few reasons. Number one, you're really strong. Relative to your body weight. You're lifting heavy weight and you're heavy. The fatigue you carry over from like a hack squat is unbearable almost. To the point that when you get to a leg press, fuck, like you can't put like that same effort in. So all we did is go to single leg. Like we literally did a single leg press. It's way less overall energy demanding. It's half your fucking leg, but you can push that leg to such failure that you're getting almost the same stimulus, but like way less fatigue. And I'm finding that I can push myself way more in those sets than if I was to load up a double leg press and just put like 10, 15 plates on there and just kill myself again. Maybe there's room for it in the future, but for right now, this has been serving us a really good purpose. Especially as we get lighter and lighter, you can really like dig into the pad. So single leg, banded leg press. So guys, you'll see here on the leg press we're using the band. Now the reason why we're using the band is to make the resistance profile and the strength profile congruent. Congruent just means matched. The resistance profile is where the machine is heavy and weak. Strength profile is where the muscle is strong and weak. We want to match those to heavy and strong, weak, and obviously not strong. So when we do this, we look at the quad, strong position being in the extended position. We want to load that into the extended position. So this is just making that kind of resistance profile match the strength profile. Sounds complicated. Basically just means more bang for your buck. Simple. So final hamstring exercise, I'm absolutely spangled now. We're just going to do a kneeling hamstring curl just to finish off that length and mid-range. All those short ranges now at this point are so fatigued. It's just about kind of working through the rest of what contractile strength you've got left in that hamstring. So a couple sets on here. Everything's been 2 sets so far. We've got adductors, hyperextensions after this. That's it.
Yeah, I was just sat down there, so I just snuck off just down there.
Hi guys, so session done. Those sessions are getting harder and harder as body weight is like just fighting to stay. So it's all about mindset of these games and mindset at this stage. And just something wanted to touch upon there is like regressions in the gym and in a deficit. Now there are obviously ways that you can counteract those regressions. Number one is reducing your volume. So actually starting your prep with slightly higher volume. Maybe you're just doing 2 or 3 sets. Maybe you drop down to 2 sets. Maybe you're doing 2 or 3 sets in a rest pause. You drop the rest pauses off. For us, we were doing a lot of rest pauses just to try and creep that extra volume in. We've now just dropped those intensifier sets off because there is no need. They're not serving us any purpose. Our goal is to retain top set strength, hypertrophy, tension. Throwing like extra reps up, we're just going to dig that fatigue hole even deeper, and it's going to become much harder to get out of it. Obviously being assisted, I can use specific drugs that will help my performance. For example, I've just introduced 20 milligrams of Anavar. Orals will work pretty quickly. So actually a lot of powerlifters, for example, will use these like pre-competition because you'll get like an acute strength benefit using them pre-workout. So about 60 minutes to 90 minutes pre-workout, I'm using Anavar. I've also crept up my Tren. I was using 100 milligrams of Tren E. I'm now up to 150 milligrams, but I'm using 50 milligrams of Tren Ace. So 100 milligrams of Tren E across the week, 20 milligrams a day, and 10 milligrams of Tren Ace, just so I could get that quickly. Ace is much quicker. It's in the system in 3 days. So I put that in on top of the E, so because the E is just baseline there already. It's already been there for a while. If I was to put the E up, the Tren E, it would take 3 or 4 weeks to peak. I don't want that one to peak right now. I need that acute strength benefit right now. So Tren has gone up accordingly. If you're natural guys, it's all going to be coming down to nutrition around that workout window, correct training volume, sleeping like a damn king or queen or they. And really, it's all up there. You'll surprise yourself. I have guys and girls and thems who surprise themselves every single time they go into a deficit. How am I getting stronger? We're 8 weeks in, I've lost 6-7 kilos. How am I getting stronger? It's all a fucking mindset. If you can adopt that mindset, if you can take that mindset that you're going to win the day, you're going to win this set, you're going to win this rep, and break it down like that, you're going to get so much further than the person who believes that because you're lower weight, you're going to lift lower weight. It's all a mindset game, guys. So correct that mindset, correct that attitude, come in relentlessly, and watch yourself retain a lot more than you think you can. Hi guys, toward the end of the video now, so I thought I'd wrap it up with a physique update. So this is probably like 3 weeks from the first video, maybe 4 weeks. I think maybe 4 weeks. So a lot has changed. This is like 121 kilos, put the videos next to each other, 121 kilos then. This is 111 this morning. Let's see how we look. So guys, you can see veins to the abs, pretty vascular. Midsection definitely coming in, and like the skin is super thin now. Gotta think I've still got growth hormone in, still got your himbine in, so this skin's gonna get like even tighter, drier. arms, delts, much leaner across the whole one. And then this is still the fat part, but much better than it was. Not sure if the shadow will get it there, but you can see still holding a big thickness in that lower back. Skin just generally thicker on my lower back, and that's something that's really important for you guys to take into your own concept, is that you can be leaner somewhere else. There's nothing left on my stomach, you know, but my back, there's a different story, and that's really important for you guys to understand your own story. This is me at 5 weeks out, 5 weeks in. I never thought I could do this in 5 weeks, to be honest, but we've absolutely smashed it. I am killing myself. I am pushing very hard. Anabolics are high. You know, thermogenics are high. The fat burning environment is high. And that's part of my risk reward ratio, guys, and I hope you guys understand that. So if you've enjoyed this episode, guys, please leave a like. It helps the channel so much. Drop a comment, watch it back, share it to your friends. We'll see you in the next video. Peace, everybody. Bye-bye.